Did you know that 208 Republicans recently voted against a bill that would allow undocumented veterans and military personnel to become American citizens? Military service is supposed to qualify these immigrants to obtain citizenship, and that benefit was often used in the past to entice them to join. And the thing that baffles my mind is, how are you good enough to serve the country but not good enough to be a citizen? Welcome to part 2 in my series of articles of news that you should know about as we count down to the new year. Please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, News to Me JA. Now, on December 6th, the Veteran Service Recognition Act passed in the House with 219 votes. Nearly all Republicans voted against the bill that would require the Department of Homeland Security to establish protocols to identify non-citizen veterans and require immigration adjudicators to consider their service records in deportation proceedings and allow veterans to stay in the U.S. until these proceedings are concluded. Now, the most important part of the bill is that it would allow the DHS Secretary to reverse previous deportation decisions for non-citizen veterans, offering them lawful permanent resident status unless found inadmissible due to an aggravated felony conviction or for driving while 5 driving while intoxicated convictions in the past 25 years. The bill would also change the Citizenship Through Military Service program to allow immigrant troops to apply for citizenship at any point after their first day of military service. Current law requires that non-citizen troops wait 1 year before applying for citizenship. A rough estimate of about 94,000 veterans have been deported since the passage of the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996. Military service is supposed to qualify these immigrants to obtain citizenship, and that benefit was often used in the past to entice them to join. But a program that provided naturalization assistance during basic training was essentially killed, it is in quotes in the articles, during the Trump administration. According to this New York Post article, over 150,000 troops have already naturalized in the past 20 years, and this year more than 10,000 have done so. But Republicans' objection to this proposal is that it is advocating for open borders. I'm not sure how it does that. The New York Post article itself is inflammatory, using a headline that says, Democrats push bill to let illegal immigrant veterans gain citizenship. The term illegal immigrant alone is very inflammatory. First of all, no human being is illegal, right? The proper term to use is undocumented. And there are so many reasons why someone is in this country undocumented. And many of them did not come into this country illegally. They did not enter into this country illegally. So they are not illegal. They are undocumented. And the thing that baffles my mind is, how are you good enough to serve the country but not good enough to be a citizen? How are you good enough to give your life, to put your life on the line for a country, but you're not good enough to be a citizen of that country? That part of it is not making sense to me. The article goes on to say, in many cases, they were highly decorated veterans who came back to the U.S. scarred by PTSD and partially or fully disabled. The law does not allow the government to take any of that into account on the decision. That is the decision to be deported. And people have been deported for charges such as disorderly conduct, drunk driving, theft, and several other misdemeanors renamed aggravated felonies. A majority of the service members deported were legal residents who committed at least 3 misdemeanors, making them deportable. So that would mean then that under this new bill that was recently passed, these veterans would be eligible for their status to be reinstated. Let me read a quote here from John Valadez, an award-winning filmmaker who directed and produced American Exile. Foreign nationals have served in the military since the Revolutionary War. They had a special status, and we gave them a lot of slack because of their services. Deporting veterans goes contrary to our traditions. Nevertheless, some deported veterans have started to come back, and according to these articles, there are organizations and people who are assisting them in the process of understanding their rights and assisting them in the process to return to the United States. For example, Juana Flores, a military mom, was brought back after 2 years of being deported, leaving behind 10 children and 18 grandchildren. And this person, Manuel Valenzuela, was one of the military brothers whose struggle was depicted in the American Exile film. And here's what he said: anyone who has served in the military has earned the right to citizenship. His brother Valente, a decorated veteran of the same war, decided to stop dealing with the stress of fighting his deportation and self-deported to Mexico a few years ago, throwing his medals into the Rio Grande River as he left. I don't blame him, because I feel like the phrases "we support veterans," "we stand behind our troops," "thank you for your service," all of those things ring hollow. If you are going to fight these people after they return from war, after they return from fighting in your name and putting their lives on the line, after they return maimed and disabled, after they return fighting PTSD, they are now going to be just discarded and thrown away and kicked out of the country for what? It's not right, because if they were enticed with the promise of citizenship to go and fight in the name of America, why would you deny them the right to be American? There is just something really rotten and dishonest about that practice.